Karibu sana. Welcome.
Our colleagues in education sector, our guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Even though we had stood for our dear beloved departed president, I'm going to request you to stand again, not to keep silent because I'm going to be talking. His Excellency President Stanley Emilio Moi Kibaki, a statesman of incomparable ability, had a lot of impact in education in this country. We remember him for introducing the performance contracting system and the performance-based management. So when you see me going around to check things, that is what I learned from Stanley Emilio Moi Kibaki. And I will practice that until I join him. In terms of the primary schools, you are aware he started the free primary school education. For university education, he expanded the university space and created many universities. Therefore, our country has lost a patriot and a true statesman that how I wish other politicians would emulate him, because I can tell you for sure that His Excellency Stanley Emilio Moi Kibaki did not practice politics of money handouts. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Please sit down. Colleagues, friends, and learners from education sector and beyond, I'm happy to address you this afternoon my final address on release of examination results to Muigai Kenyatta. I want to thank the Almighty God and His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta for his wisdom in bestowing me with the responsibility of serving Kenyans both as the chair of the Kenya National Examination Council and Cabinet Secretary between the years of 2016 and now. As I wind up my tenure as Cabinet Secretary under this administration, I look back at the privilege I have been accorded to transform the way the national examinations are conducted and broader education sector reforms with a lot of appreciation and satisfaction. Through my journey at NEC under the ministry, many successes, particularly on the conduct of national examinations, have been registered through the multi-agency approach. In this regard, I wish to positively recognize and acknowledge the following. Number one, the Almighty God who has given us life, strength, and wisdom to champion these examination reforms. Number two, His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta for his strong leadership, guidance, and stewardship in this regard. Number three, CS for Interior and Coordination of National Government, Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i, for the key role that he played, especially towards the initiation of these processes. Number four, Ambassador Dr. Amina Mohammed, who perpetuated the implementation of the reforms during her tenure in this office. Number five, our late fallen CS for Interior, Joseph Kcse, whose partnership with ICT colleague Joe Mucheru were very critical and continue to be critical in the delivery of this service. Number six, Dr. Richard Belio Kipsang, whose experience was key towards the reforms as he was principal secretary in this sector for 9 years. 7, Dr. Nancy Njeri Macharia, who has just spoken to you now, and I don't need to read more because you can see she's still supporting us as we move along. And she's one of the strong legs of the stool that I'll be leaving behind. 8, Dr. Mercy Gadhiga Karogo, the immediate former CEO of NEC, with whom we worked very well for a number of years. Members of the NEC Council and the entire NEC fraternity. Ministry officials who have been involved in monitoring exams and many other activities. Teachers, our gallant teachers and center managers, whom we cannot describe the time that the gallantry and the brevity that they have shown us, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Most people forget pandemic. And therefore, I'm not asking you to be merciful to me. I don't need anybody's mercies. But it's good to understand that we have been working under very difficult conditions. And therefore, I salute the teachers. Our national government officials, plus the security officers, overseeing the security and logistical security arrangements for the exams. And of course, last but not least, my beloved family, whom have stood by me in this journey. As I move around, they have missed that time. Efforts of this incredible team in delivering incredible examinations for our children will remain etched in our history. For many more cabinet secretaries that will come after me, the main thing that I advise them is not to drop the ball in safeguarding the integrity of our national examinations. They must keep intact the trajectory of examination reforms that we have put in place. Luckily for them, when CBC takes root, the attraction of examination malpractice will die. This trajectory has ensured that no learner fails to sit national examinations. In fact, Dr. Juan did not tell you very clearly that the government of His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta for children both in public and private schools since 2016, and has paid a total of 27.7 billion. And you know that in this year's budget, 5 billion has been set aside for that purpose. So just to diverge and to ask our teachers, it will be a criminal offense if you do not register the child. It doesn't cost anything. Please register the child. For the exceptional cases of persons who engage or attempt to engage in malpractices, they have been dealt with according to our law. With regards to the fourth estate, I urge the media to ensure accuracy, fairness, objectivity, and discipline of strict verification before reporting cases of examination malpractices. I have ensured that the November-December 2022 exams, grade 6, class 8 and Form 4 examinations are ready for administration. I want to again direct very firmly that the process of registering all candidates should start as has been stated by the CEO. Arising from my stint as the head of education in this country, I am sure that the gains that we have made have created the necessary momentum for even greater reforms in future. I wish to specifically mention some of the reforms that I either made on the way or started or continued, because this is teamwork with team spirit. The first one, without saying anything, is that the government has spent since 2013 a total of Kenya shilling 94.95 billion in 22,998 primary schools and a total of learners in 2,059 public primary schools. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been consistent to track each cohort at its transition to the class for over 10 years. The impressive 100% transition policy that the government of His Excellency Magoha Kenyatta has sustained, the push of KCP candidates ensure that all children, and you will see us in the field again, ensuring that all children from all walks of life are taken to school. And the good news is that the enrollment has now in secondary schools moved from 1.3 million to over 3.5 million in 2022. As a matter of fact, the difference between last year and this year's candidature was 10%, which means, as people say a lot of things out there, we are focused on making sure that children go to school. So don't listen to foreigners who say, oh, children go, but they don't reach this class. Where did the 10% come from, if that is true? Our secondary schools, especially the sub-county secondary schools, 75% of them are completely free. The government pays for them. And we have been sure, we made sure, we want to thank the President for releasing the money on time. The money was released a week ago. The money is in school accounts. It is there because we don't want our children to suffer when they report. A Kenyan child is going to report to a Kenyan school being run by a Kenyan teacher. And Kenyan money has been paid to make sure he is not sent home. So let us not hear that somebody has decided that he or she has his own school and that the child should go and look for money. Let us be reasonable, because parents have really tried. People have lost jobs across the world. It is a reality. The fact that we are very comfortable, we must never for once forget that there may be people who are struggling, and my instruction from the President is to ensure that every child is in school. So start discussing about school fees for those who can't pay after the lessons have started. On our side, we shall ensure that payments that are required are given on time. So as far as secondary school is concerned, during the President's tenure of office, a staggering 325 billion Kenya shilling has been paid to 23,832,734 learners in public primary schools, in public secondary schools since 2013, and a total of 1.52 billion to 34,194 special needs learners in 768 public schools. This is a record, and I want to thank our African brothers for coming, and I salute you. But our country spends 25.9% of the budget, and I believe is way ahead of every other country. You have to clap for that one, whether you like it or not. You want to namna gani? The fourth thing I want to mention under the President's leadership is the Elimu Scholarship Program. Very quickly, this Elimu Scholarship Program is geared towards looking at the poor children in our society. Once you have the scholarship, it runs for 4 years. 4,000 of the scholarships this year are going to the urban slums. We are now going to have a total of 27,000 poor students going to school for 4 years. I want to urge the incoming administration, if they are worth their salt, to ensure that this scholarship continues, so that the poor can also break the ceiling, like we did, like I did for my family. That is the challenge of the next government. In 2017, the government also ensured all public secondary school children by paying Kenya shilling 4 billion per year. So any child who is sick in public secondary school is taken and treated free of charge, and the bills are paid by the National Hospital Insurance Fund. By the way, just to say that since we are still recruiting for the scholarship, even if the timelines have expired, if your child passed well and you are very poor, still apply. We shall come to look for you. I think it's your right. A lot has been said about the competency-based curriculum, so I'm not going to waste my time there, except that by the grace of God, and God is great. Next week, we are going to have grade 6. Next week, we are going to have grade 6, and later in the year, they will do an exam and they go to grade 7. By that time, they will have taken 9 years. Who is it that wants to say they are going to scrap CBC at this time? We are not introducing CBC. We are actually midwifing and moving along with it. And the government is fully prepared. I am not going to repeat what Sister Nancy Machera has said about teachers. The teachers are extremely adequate, and they are going to continue to prepare. We have constructed already 6,470 classrooms, just a few to be completed within a week or two. The classrooms are physical. We have inspected them. If you like, you can go and inspect them yourselves. And they have been constructed at 788,000 shillings, 500,000 shillings less than is usually spent. I don't hear Kenyans lauding the president for doing so, but it's very interesting. We are leaving office having told you that if you come up again with bills of 1.2 million, we know for sure that you are stealing government money, and I think the agencies should come for you. So we should be able to complete the 10,000 classrooms which the president promised in Mashujaa Day as we leave office, because the balance of 3,500 classrooms or so should start next month, and by the grace of God, we should be able to complete them just around August. We shall not be affected by elections because we are not politicians. We shall continue to build the classrooms. Digital infrastructure is a story that we are very, very familiar with. More than 95% of public primary schools have got the gadgets. The remaining ones, and especially the new ones, we are continuing to provide them with the gadgets. I just want to thank once again everybody, starting with the health sector and the teachers and the central government and the president himself for having had the courage to reopen the schools when he did, and to thank all the benefactors who helped us with masks, including the government who manufactured a lot of masks, including the Ministry of Health who gave us a lot of masks, and that it is by the grace of God that we have normalized. But let us not normalize in the African way. This is the last stretch of normalcy. So I'm glad to see that our union leaders are here, both Missouri, who is very dangerous, and the other one. That let us play for this year. Let us play politics of sobriety. We have not normalized yet. You can open fire from next year, but now let us walk with us so that we are able to get where we are going. Every Kenyan child gets a free textbook and exercise books from 2018. The government of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has spent 33.38 billion Kenya shilling in these books. This is important because this is the equalizer. If you empower an intelligent child from the slums, then that child will perform just as well. Progressively as a country, we should work towards going even further to ensure that we provide a variety of learning materials to enrich teaching and learning experience as equalizers. we have also purchased 627,357 desks, both in public, primary and secondary schools, at the cost of Kenya shilling 1.9 billion. It's not a story. We went to the workshops, we saw the desks, they are in classes. I also want to thank government for having allocated again another 600 million shillings for this sector. We shall sit back and identify where it is pinching most, whether it is the classrooms in the high school or more classrooms, and this money will have to be used as we are still in office. In terms of our girl child, I get disappointed when members of parliament slash money for sanitary pads, like the current one, which they slashed from 470 million to 260 million. But nevertheless, since 2018, this government has spent 3.017 billion on sanitary towels for 7,515,864 girls. It is a matter of human dignity, and I think it is money well spent. And of course, you now know there are no traders in between. I was ordered by the president to ensure there are no traders in between. We go to the factory and get the cheapest products, and they are produced and taken to the field. And perhaps some people are not happy with that one. But that would be the best, because then you produce more sanitary towels for the children. When the child gets the pack of towels and takes home, it becomes a family property, and there's not very much the government can do. So the more you give them, the better. The government has connected power to nearly all schools, over 94%. And this has also benefited the connectivity around the households around schools. And facilities for SNE learning have been improved. You are aware that for SNE candidates in secondary schools, the capitation is 53,807. $3,720. Perhaps one of the most transformative things that I have personally been involved in is the school feeding program. You can have documentation that you have fed, but the only way you can know you have fed is to go to the child. And we are now glad to say we are producing, and this credit goes to the president anyway, it's not mine, I'm the Mutu wa Mkono. We are producing corn soya mixture, which is fortified and is being given to children. We follow the production, we follow the transport, and we follow the implementation. So if you go to the slums, you find the children are chubby because they are having a meal that is good for their brain. And since we are in another class, nobody is clapping. You know, this country has gone, our country is in very serious trouble. Because the only way we shall have peace is if we look after the weakest link. And the weakest link, this school feeding program, the president also ordered that we buy all rice from Mwea and from Kisumu, which was done, and the rice has been sent. Children have rice and beans, but he has even gone further, buying cows which otherwise would have died from the semi-arid areas. We are at the stage now, unless somebody interferes, of buying corned beef from Kenya Meat Commission, so that children can have a smell of meat at least once a week, if not twice a week. Now that is better now. Thank you. The children are waiting for. The 2021 Kcse examination candidature, 826,807 candidates sat for examination in 2021 compared to 747,000. That's an increase of 10.66%. So the busybodies, whether they are local or foreign, who keep saying, oh, these children go to school but they don't finish, or 30% don't finish. It's all lies. I don't know whether it's meant to get money to come and steal in this country. But the point is, we have made sure the children have gone to school and they have remained in school. And we have the data because we look at human bodies, not figures, isn't it? Of the 826,000 who sat for the exam, 421,000 were male, 4 or 5,000 were female. So point here is that gender parity is there. 50.9, 49.1. So we have had gender parity. 18 counties had more female candidates than males. And the only thing that I was telling His Excellency the President this morning is that all counties in Central region have more females in class. So I don't know whether they are more fertile there. But the others are Taita Taveta, Machakos, Kitui, Meru, Elgeyo Marakwet, Kakamega, Vihiga, Tharaka Nithi, Uasin Gishu, Laikipia, and Kisumu. Performance, we had 11 subjects recording significant improvement this year compared to 19 subjects last year. There was no significant change in 7 of them. There were 1,138, which is 0.14 candidates who scored overall grade of A plane, compared to last year's 0.12%. Don't be too happy because the numbers also increased. So the number of candidates with a minimum university, the so-called minimum university entrance, I'm saying so because you don't have to go to university. Some may have passed well and they will go somewhere else. With C+ and above, rose to 145,000, which is 17.47% as compared to last year, which was 143,000 but stood for 19%. It is the wish of government and His Excellency the President that all these 145,000 should join universities, and those who want to join TVET for advanced courses are also welcome to join them. The job of the next government is to provide money to ensure that they remain in the university system. The number of candidates with the minimum TVET diploma courses, which is grade C- and above, 39.27%. But having said so, I rush to tell you that all the other candidates are qualified to join TVET and to do courses at various levels, certificate, diploma, and what have you. So, in terms of A's, female, 349, male, 789. A-, female, 2,154, male, 3,819. B+, female, 5,199, male, 8,264. B stand, female is 10,000, male is 14,000, and so on and so forth. This will be given to you. Candidates with special needs. This is a special group of candidates. There were 223 C+ and above. And just to carry you through, 2 of them had A plane, 10 had A-, 27 had B+, 30 had B stand, 68 had B-, and 86 had C+. In the 2021 Kcse examinations, our sub-county schools, which have been alluded to by both the Principal Secretary and the CEO Teacher Service Commission, will form the future of this country. Government has deliberately invested in these day schools. They are almost 75% of all schools. So they registered an excellent performance. A total of 17,327 attained a mean grade of C+ and above, with 128 of them getting a mean grade of A- and above. This demonstrates that children can excel in sub-county day schools. For me, as a practicing physician, I think day schools are even much better because then they also go and communicate with the parents. So the madness of boarding school disappears. Because if you cause a lot of problem at home, they tell you today you are not eating. But no teacher can dare tell a student in the boarding school that you are not eating. Everything will erupt. The following are the 10 best performing sub-county schools. The first one is from Nyanza. It's called Nyakeore Secondary School. The performance index is 65.2. Second one is Kebulonik Secondary School in the Rift Valley. The large entry, the performance index is 57. Banisa Mixed Secondary School in Mandera for Northeastern. Manyata Mixed Secondary School in Eastern. Shibanga Mixed Secondary School in Western. Heni Secondary School in Heni Secondary School in Central. Mary Happy Day School. Mary Happy Day School, if there is such a school, yes. And then, of course, Al-Farsi Girls Secondary School. The following are the best performing candidates in sub-counties per region. The first one, Anthony Juguna Muhoro. Anthony Juguna Muhoro is from Kiamaina Secondary School and has a score of 84.634. The second one, Owino Eric from Akoko Secondary School in Nyanza. The score is 83.71. The third one is Karuiza Clinton from Angaine Mixed Day Secondary School in Eastern. The score is 81.449. The next one is Achesa Alukoti Diler from Matunda Secondary School, Matunda Day Secondary School, with 81.237. The other one, the following one is Diangui Frank Wagura from St. James Kiarithia Secondary School in Central with 79.4. Following one is Muley Kelvin from Dandora Secondary School, Dandora. And the Dandora one, 79.213. Mkirimia Dennis Mwamburi, that's the last one, from the coast with 78.246. There is one here, and I will just apologize in public. The name is Ronald Kipkoech from Kiblabotwa Secondary School. Is that in Rift Valley? Kiblabotwa Secondary School, 74.9. Siyo ni mzuri. So don't let everyone not want to go to the ones you know. Improved candidates with KP scores as baseline. Of course, we have picked one from every region. One from the coast, you have Mbilo Boniface Wambua, who had 241 marks in Kcse, has gotten a B stand. from a sub-county school in Yukini Mixed Secondary School. The next one is Minor Humphrey Mwangi from Gadirwini Secondary School. And he originally had 211. He has gotten a B stand. The third one is Kituku Simon Mavi, 221, B stand, from ABC Bambusu Secondary School. The next one is Njoroge Kelvin Mwangi, Jehovah Jireh Secondary School. From 207 to a B stand. Next one is Chepto Sharon from Lelu Secondary School, from 267 to A minus. The next one is Shawiza Isaac from Makuchi Secondary School, and from 242 to a B stand. Second last, Okoth Cindy Adhiambo, Sigoti Complex Girls Secondary School. Extra county one, is that, that's an extra county school, so I will not read that one, you can ignore. Or I just read? Yes. Thank you. Okoth Cindy Adhiambo, Sigoti Complex, went there with 165 points. She has scored a B minus. And finally, Najma Mohammed Hassan, 113 to a B stand. Banisa Mixed Secondary School. The import of what I've gone through is that there is opportunity in every school. You will decide. There tends to be a tendency that the national schools do better. Of course, they are regimented. There is thorough discipline there. Go to Kcse, go to Kenya High School, go to Alliance. Children don't have time to think about, iko kibriti ko wapi. Do you get the point? And you can create that culture in any school, even during the day, even the day schools. There are some most improved schools according to candidature, but I think now the top students are dying. Let me go to them. So our emphasis basically is squarely in the sub-counties. 15 overall 16-year-olds, which means the underages, those children who are 16 years and below. The top candidate there is Brenda Cherotich from Kcse Girls High School with a score of 87.066, 86.721, followed by Mwendo Jen Mutheu, St. Teresa Mboni Girls High School, 86.6, Arnold Felix Oguda Okach, how many names? Arnold Felix Oguda Okach, Kabianga High School, 86.5, Mutua Fabian Mutisia, 86.4, Mangu High School, Njuguna Masi Wanjiku, Pangani Girls, 85.971. I will read this last one. Mutuku Gloria Wavinya, Alliance Girls High School, 85.8. And then Ntenya Doti Sweetie. Is that a name? Ntenya Doti Sweetie, the Kenya High School, 85.644. Kadesha Purity Ngina, 85.5, Precious Blood Riruta. Nalianya Case Leslie, Alliance Girls High School. No. And Kialo Peter Mumo, St. Charles, Luanda. Sitati Shama Wekesa, 84.9, Nairobi School. Orangi Mitunda Devon, Friends Kamusinga. Otieno Evans Omondi, Mbita High School at 84 point. They are all 84 around there. 15 overall special needs, I'll just read 5 of them. The first one is Ruben Osoro, 83.4 from Kcse Boys. Agot Saulo Olango, 83.2, Maranda High School. Otieno Omondi Stanley, 80.4, Maseno School. Mburugu Ayan, Mutethia, Mangu High School, 79.3. Precious Zawadi Machuka, Moi Girls School Eldoret, 79.3. And Gatulaki Guy from Chesamisi High School. So, yeah, I'm sure what you are waiting for is what I have not read. Or did this... Dr. Njegere, there's something missing here. The list of the top students. Let me talk about irregularities as the CEO gets me the list of the top students. Because it's like they didn't want me to read it, but I have to read it. Ahead of this examination, the government has heightened measures meant to preempt any forms of cheating through combined efforts of all members of the multi-agency team. And I want to take this opportunity to tell you that the intellectual property of the container I got from Uganda. The container we got from Uganda. And the container, when I was there in northern Uganda, I found a ragtag soldier guarding the container outside the church. And I said, this is the answer. We have bettered it to the extent that we shrink wrap our material and ensure that there are 8 security features. And we also use the Ministry of Interior and the Ministry of Education to ensure that 2 people open. And those locks are manufactured somewhere and you can't duplicate the key. So the issue of ever leaking, that one, you use it for promotive and speculative purposes because it doesn't happen. The problem we now have, which the people must deal with, is one. As the exam leaks, we have about 10,500 center managers. If only 2 of them open and put in the internet, then everybody says, oh, the exam has leaked. You find my own officer saying the exam has leaked. As a result, I have personally allowed the 4th estate to look through our security features. And like hell, they have never bothered to air it. So I keep wondering, am I spoiling business for you? Because the exam shall not leak unless another government comes and says now, we are not going to use security forces to follow the exam. Are we together here? So we also said that anybody who is found attempting to interfere with the integrity of the exam will be dealt with squarely. And that's what I'm going to go through right now, because for irregularities, we have withheld results for one very big school, pending further investigation, because we want to be fair. As a result of this enhanced vigilance was that nearly all cases of cheating that would have occurred were prevented. You will remember that I promulgated a decree, which was mine, that no cell phone in the schools except for 2 people. Now that cut off even those who had taken a photo, they could not get the results back. The country would bear me witness that many mobile phones that would have been used to relay exposed examination materials were confiscated before they would be used. However, there are 441 cases reported in 2021 examination and 1 case of the entire center. I wish to categorically state that NEC will not have NEC will not have any mercy. You know what mercy means? On examination offenders who must be dealt with decisively according to NEC's regulations and the laws of the land. Consequently, examination results of all 441 cases have been cancelled. And the 441 cases involved, for your information, unauthorized materials, 211 more, 203 mobile phones, 223, impersonation 8, collusion 6, causing disturbance. I think 1 student was almost beating the teacher, 1. Total 441. So those ones are like that. Before I declare, the following 15 are the overall candidates who have topped the examination this year. I don't know why my team didn't want me to read them for you. Number 1, from Mango High School. Jeriel, you are clapping, I have not even read them. Jeriel Ndeda Obura. Mean score 87.167. Number 2, Mukuha Timothy Kamau. Mean score 87.139, Alliance High School. Number 3, Job Ngara, 87.1, Mango High School. Number 4, Chege David Kamau, St. Joseph Boys Kitale, 87. Number 5, Ramadan Musa Tepo, 87.1, Light Academy. Number 6, Muendo Cecily Mudeu, 87.086, the Kenya High School. The following one, Ian Mwai Toyota, 87.08, Kakamega High School. Rita Shekina, 87.079, Kenya High School. Number 9, Mshindi Daniel Ouma, Light Academy, 87. Brenda Cherotich, Kcse Girls High School, 87. Mugane Job Ngatia, Strathmore School. Pretty Ariona Adaga, Kapsabet Boys, 87. Mutethia Caleb Ngumbau, Mango High School, 87. Abia Melanie Melima, Kenya High School. And finally, Maina Millicent Wamuru, Kenya High School. I deliberately did not start with those names because then you would not have listened to the others, which are very important. Because our children are our children, isn't it? I want to urge those people who are flooding me with requests for schools that the children can do well in any school that is funded by government. I'm now happy, ladies and gentlemen, to declare the 2021 Kcse examination results officially released. I wish all candidates success in their future. Where is the key to the? Where is the code? The code. There's somebody who is against the children. Which code are they? What do I tell them?
20076.
Where?
200.
They dial direct.
With the index number.
Yeah, so in order to access the results, your index number followed by 20076. Actually, that's what they are waiting for, and you don't put it here. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, sir. And now we request our CEO and the chairman of the council, accompanied by our guests, to hand over the results to the CS, who will in turn hand over the results to the PS for dissemination to the field officers. Can we give a round of applause? Thank you, sir. Another round of applause. Thank you for dissemination to the field officers and eventually to the head teachers. Thank you, sir. At this point, allow me to invite Dr. Ibrahim Otieno to move a vote of thanks, our Director, ICT.